So this video is titled How the US Lost Thousands of High-Skilled Workers to Canada. The title to me right off the bat doesn't seem like it might be true because I think a lot of people are moving to the US to work because of cost of living in Canada. I don't know, but I'm open-minded to see see the view or the direction the video is going to go to. Let's check it out.
For bringing qualified technical capability into the country.
We need to bring Americans back into the workforce and reform existing programs before we expand immigration.
If 2 million more immigrants came to the U.S. each year, we could reverse our predicted population and productivity decline.
After decades of deliberation surrounding U.S. immigration policies, high-skilled tech workers are looking towards a new country, Canada.
Many warn that if the U.S. doesn't find a way to bring in more of the world's best talent, other countries like Canada will.
Canada has launched a new initiative to attract this talent, as well as so-called digital nomads and skilled American workers.
But how did we get here? And how does a country that is home to the world's biggest tech companies lose thousands of highly skilled workers to Canada? We spoke with several foreign tech workers and immigration consultants to uncover the story of how the U.S.'s bureaucratic visa process pushes workers north.
It is very stressful. Every single year, the stress increases.
It's not straightforward. It's very convoluted. And you have queues and queues.
Your ability to even work in the country and contribute to the country is just going to depend on a lottery.
The H-1B visa is a non-immigrant work visa that allows U.S. employers to hire foreign workers in specialty occupations. Specialty occupations require an area of expertise and at least a bachelor's degree or its equivalent. These jobs often include high-skilled workers in tech. Since its creation in 1990, Congress has limited the amount of H-1B visas available each year. The current cap is 65,000 with an additional 20,000 made available for graduates of an American university with a master's or doctorate degree. Because the visa is sponsored by an employer, holders who lose their jobs have 60 days to find a new job, transfer their visa status, or face deportation. Shiva Cole is from India, but came to the United States to study in 2013. She started working at Microsoft in 2018, who sponsored her H-1B visa.
I was lucky enough for the first time, but I've had friends who've had to apply multiple times and friends who did not get selected or picked up in the lottery at all.
Getting an H-1B visa has become increasingly competitive. In order to get approved, an employee has to be sponsored by their employer and then go through a rigorous application process. Once vetted, they are entered into a pool of applicants who are randomly selected for a visa. Harnoor Singh, a software engineer that has a bachelor's and master's degree from Georgia State and is an H-1B visa holder, knows all about this.
I have been in the lottery 3 times and it took me 3 times to get accepted in the lottery. For the first year, I wasn't accepted. For second year, I wasn't accepted. It was very stressful because if things don't work out, you have to leave the country.
In 2021, nearly half of the eligible registrations received a selection for the random drawing. But for the upcoming 2024 year,
But why is it so? If they're already working and being productive and, helping, paying taxes and doing all those things, shouldn't it be only right for them to have the visas? I mean, there are people coming into America the rough way, and those people are given comfort, basically. So these ones that have been putting in the work and being productive, and they were even sponsored by employers, shouldn't they be taken care of? I'm just asking a question. I don't know.
Out of the 758,000 registrations received by the government, only 188,000 were selected for the final random drawing, meaning less than 25% received a visa, and thousands were turned away. Once someone receives an H-1B visa, they'll face a number of restrictions.
I've been living here for a decade. I've been paying my taxes since my student years. I don't have the same level of rights that a person who's from the States would have, but I have the exact same and even more number of duties. Since you're not a citizen and since you don't have a green card, you can't even work at a Subway.
Because you're restricted with your visa status in the US, you don't even have flexibility to move around. You don't really have flexibility to change jobs. Plus the green card process, which is the pathway to permanence in the US, is a very, very tedious and a long one.
Since holders are at the will of their employer, they cannot change jobs or work side gigs. the spouse or child of the holder also cannot work without applying for employment authorization.
So you have highly educated spouse that are just, sitting in the U.S. not able to work. Sometimes they're PhD holders that are just staying home because they can't even work.
A natural way to get past this bump is to apply for an employment-based green card. But for holders like Shiva who come from highly populated countries, the backlog is longer than her lifespan.
It's painful because all that's left between me and that green card is one piece of paper. That is the last step of the green card. And because there's a backlog, that's why I can't get to that. There's no other reason for that.
The US implemented a country cap of 7% for green cards, which means H-1B visa holders born in highly populated countries like India and China are experiencing lifetime waits.
75% of the people who are on H-1B visa in the US were born in India. Majority of Indians suffer by this wait time a lot. They can never get permanent residency in their lifetime.
In 2023, the backlog reached a record high, with 1.8 million people waiting, and 1.1 million of those people came from India. With the grim path to permanent residency, a lot of H-1B tech workers are exploring their options.
H-1Bs were moving to Canada, applying on their own for the permanent residence and doing
Actually, now that they explain it, it does make sense. But also in Canada though, when you talk about the housing and some of the resource shortage, are they ready to be in Canada? Because Canada is going to shock you too when you come here. I know like that's the last option now. When it's not working in the US, you come to Canada. Anyways.
Since I started, 20 years ago, the highly educated foreign national is really at the mercy of the US employer.
Big tech companies account for a large amount of H-1B visa approvals. Amazon, Google, Microsoft, Apple, and Meta accounted for over 60,000 approvals in the last 2 years. But all of these companies, except for Apple, underwent major layoffs in the past year, leaving H-1B visa holders in limbo.
So I got affected with the recent tech layoff that is going on. And per the US immigration rules, you have up to 60 days to leave the country. You have to gather everything, and if you don't have anything doing, you have to leave the country.
Originally from Ghana, Onoche moved to the US in 2019 on a student visa. He received a bachelor's and master's degree in material science and engineering. After being laid off from Micron earlier this year, he transferred his H-1B visa status to a visitor visa while searching for his next step.
I'm still looking for jobs in the US. It's not easy. Even so now companies are still laying off, so it's kind of a bit difficult.
From October 2022 to April 2023, approximately 50,000 H-1B holders lost their status due to unemployment, and 12,500 of these workers did not transfer to another legal status, meaning they had 60 days to find a new sponsor or potentially face deportation. Then, on June 27, 2023, this happened.
Over the course of this year, Canada is going to be developing a specific stream for some of the world's most highly talented people that will be able to come to Canada to work for tech companies, whether they have a job offer or not.
And on July 16th, Canada opened visa applications for a pilot program that would allow up to 10,000 H-1B visa holders in the US to apply for a 3-year open work permit in Canada.
This is unprecedented. Never heard of any similar program in the past.
And the program was a huge success, reaching its 10,000 capacity on the first day. But this pilot program is only one part of Canada's tech talent strategy, a larger multi-year plan to recruit the world's top tech talent.
There's been an unprecedented labor shortage in Canada. The tech field is growing, and the labor shortage has been significant in that specific industry for years and years. So that's why the focus is really to be able to provide the businesses in Canada and the economic situation in Canada, the economic immigrants it needs, based on their skills, basically.
So usually, like when we live here, we criticize this immigration, for valid reasons. We criticize that Canada is opening the doors to so many people. I think about 500,000 this year or last year. But my point is, housing market is down. Like we have like 19% less houses than people now. And Canada is not able to keep up with the build and the execution of newer houses. So people are always concerned that with more migrants coming into Canada and Canada opening their doors to more people, where are these people going to live? Gas is high, food is high, everything is high. these people might come and meet the high cost of everything, and it's going to shock them, and they'll ask to go back. Yeah, that's another reality that you should expect when you're coming to Canada too. But yeah, seems like it's been working pretty well for Canada. If the execution and everything is outlined and it goes well as planned, then I think it's a perfect idea for Canada. You know, bring in workers from where you have shortages and then fill them. But also you have to look into ways to make the economy work so these people don't come and, you know, opt to leave again. Just saying. Anyways, feel free to share your thoughts, everything I shared in that video. These are just my thoughts, my opinion. Doesn't mean that these are the facts, you know. So share yours too in the comment section. Let's talk about it. That being said, I'll end this one right there. The link to the full video will be in the description, so you can go check out the full one. Smash the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace.